So recently, there's been a lot of talk about how ring culture ruins the way we talk about basketball, and I kind of disagree with that to a certain degree, right? Because people try to make it seem like ring culture is a new phenomenon. It's always been about winning, back to Bill Russell, Kareem, Magic, Bird, Jordan, right? It's always been about winning, and with most things in life, the winners get remembered. So from that angle, I don't really agree. I don't believe this is anything new, right? But on the other side of it, where I think ring culture has had a huge negative impact on the way we view basketball is people like me, channels like mine, we spend so much time thinking about how do we get to a championship level that we don't stop and enjoy the teams we have in front of us right now. I always think about the grit and grind Grizzlies where no one really thought they were going to win a championship, but they were a fun team. They had an identity. People showed up to watch them every single night. They became a national team. And I feel like in today's NBA, that would never happen. And you could say that's for good or for worse, but if we seen a team today being led by Marc Gasol, we would all say, what are you doing? You got to blow it up. You got to go get a real superstar. You got to tank. You got to get draft picks, right? And that is a part of ring culture that has really affected the way we view basketball. So with that in mind, I try to be more cognizant of that and not just look at a team and think, man, they're not going to win a championship, so what are they doing, right? I try to sit back and think about if I was a fan of that team, would I be happy with the product? Would I be happy to support that team? And that's a much cooler, normal way to view the game, right? And you look across the NBA right now, there's not a lot of teams where I'm looking at them and saying, what are you doing? Majority of them have a plan, or they have a young star they're building around, or they're an old team like the Warriors or the Clippers that are trying to hold on, right? I may be asking what they're doing, but I get what they're doing, right? There's not a lot of teams I look at and I'm like, I don't understand it. There's really, well, the Kings, but the Kings are their own little thing. Besides the Kings, there's really only one team I'm looking at, and I am a little bit perplexed, and that is the Miami Heat. And partly I feel this way about the Heat because the Heat shouldn't be one of these teams that are just fine being okay. The Heat have seen exactly what this looks like. And if you're a Heat fan, feel free to tell me I'm wrong. You would know better than I know. But if I were a fan of the Miami Heat right now, I would not be all that excited or happy about what's going on. I would feel like we're about to double down on mediocrity again. And last time it worked out for us because Jimmy Butler did some amazing things that nobody could have seen coming, but everyone knew that team was not good enough to actually win it all, and they kept going to battle with that team. They were rumored to be in conversations for every star player, and I'm not going to do the hindsight thing and say, oh, they should have traded Bam. No, that would have been crazy in the moment. But now here we are again with Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero and Norman Powell here instead of Jimmy Butler, and I'm not going to disrespect Norman Powell. He's obviously shocking us all, but going into battle with Norman Powell, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero as your big three, I don't think is the right move, and especially, again, if you are the Miami Heat. A second round exit shouldn't be your aspirations. And if your rebuttal to that is, okay, we're building something toward the future, well, this is the final year for Wiggins on his deal. He has a player option for next year. He'll probably pick it up. Norman Powell, last year on his deal. Are you about to pay Norman Powell near max money if you're the Miami Heat? I wouldn't be looking to pay a 32-year-old Norman Powell max money. I think that's a little bit absurd. And then we get to Bam Adebayo, who started off the year so great, was knocking down so many threes. He had a game where he took 13 threes. Who's this new Bam, right? And all of a sudden, we're right back to where we were with Bam Adebayo. Good player, but if you're expecting him to lead you or take another step, you're probably just gonna be disappointed. And I focus on Bam because Bam is older than Tyler Hero. Bam is more likely to get you value in a trade than Tyler Hero, I would think, right? But also, Bam is going to be making $60 million pretty soon. He has a player option for $57 million in 2028, where he will be 31 years old, and this year he's only making $37 million, and next year that bumps all the way up to $50 million. So if you're going to trade Bam, it's going to get more difficult and more difficult to do as the years go on, and he's making more money. Again, I'm trying more and more to not be like, oh, every team should just make a trade, blow it up, make a trade. But for this Miami Heat team, again, Norman Powell is going to be a free agent at the end of this year. Andrew Wiggins might be a free agent at the end of this year. Bam Adebayo is going to be making $50 million next year. What exactly is the plan? And if the plan is either win right now or the future, I think either one of those moves might include trading Bam. If the plan is to win right now, you could trade Bam, put Nikola Jovic with him and a couple first-round picks, and maybe go get a player better than Bam Adebayo. I don't know who that player would be, But if that's the plan, obviously Giannis would be the go-to name there. And you would try to get Giannis without giving up Kel'el Ware. I don't see how the Milwaukee Bucks would ever do that, but how it could happen, it would have to be Bam, Jovic, Jaquez, 3 first-round picks, and the Bucks probably still say no. Definitely still say no, and the Bucks probably say no to Bam, Kel'el Ware, Jaquez, and 3 first-round picks as well. They might be able to get a better offer than that for Giannis. So the idea of trading Bam for a player better than Bam might have already been out the window, because people would have been doing that with the illusion that Bam was going to blossom into this different type of player. Now he's already 28 years old. No one's trading for Bam thinking he's going to come change their team. The only other player I can think of is Anthony Davis, and if I'm the Miami Heat, I'm not doing that unless I see Anthony Davis play amazing basketball from now until the trade deadline and no injuries. Even still, that would be very risky to do, but then maybe I would think about it. Then maybe I could look at it and say, okay, we got AD, we got Norman Powell, we got Tyler Hero, we still got Wiggins, we got Davion Mitchell. Like, we got a very, very good team, because AD's ceiling, I don't think I have to argue this with you guys, is much higher than Bam Adebayo's ceiling. Only problem with that is AD makes $54 million, so you would need Bam and another big contract to make that deal work, which is the problem you're going to run into next year with Bam Adebayo, because people that want to trade for Bam are going to need to make $50 million up to trade for him. His value is going to be going down from this point on. So an AD deal would have to be like Bam and Davion Mitchell, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if I'm the Heat, and again, I'm trying to win right now, Davion Mitchell would be very important to that team. I think if we have 2 months of AD playing amazing basketball, that could be the best team in the East. And maybe that says more about the East, but again, AD, Tyler Hero, Wiggins, Norman Powell, Davion Mitchell, Kel'el Ware, you still got Jovic, you still got Jaquez, and AD is playing at an all-NBA level. We know he can. That's a scary team. Bam Adebayo doesn't take you to those levels that an AD at the peak of his powers could, and that's a lot of ifs with AD, but I'm just saying, there's no scenario where Bam Adebayo is taking you there. There's no scenario where Bam Adebayo goes into a series against the Knicks or goes into a series against the Cavs and is the best player in the series. It's just not going to happen. AD, you could see that world. Maybe no scenario is a little bit strong, but I truly feel like that. But if we're to a point where you can't package Bam and picks to get someone better than Bam, again, AD and Giannis are the only 2 that come to mind, and you know, you don't really want to go get another guard because you have Tyler Hero and Norman Powell. What I think is interesting, and maybe you guys would disagree, and maybe you think I'm not a fan of Bam Adebayo. I have multiple videos talking about how much I like Bam Adebayo as a player, but I think the quiet part is if they made a move for the future, they wouldn't really take that far of a step back this year. Again, I don't view their ceiling as the championship team. Maybe you do, maybe I'm wrong, time will tell. But I don't think if they traded Bam for some good role players and assets for the future, they would be taking a huge step back this year. If anything, you empower Kel'el Ware more, you empower more of your playmakers to actually handle the ball, because Bam does a lot of that. That's more opportunity for Jaquez and Jovic to actually develop as playmakers, as creators. And you have Eric Spoelstra, right? We know what he can do. So if your worry is, oh, we're going to trade Bam and trade for the future and fall off this year, I don't believe that would actually happen. And not saying that this is the likely outcome, but I actually feel like, again, sounds crazy, the ceiling might be elevated, because who knows what Kel'el Ware could be if there was no Bam Adebayo there to begin with. I'm just saying. Kind of like, in a very different way, what happened in Houston, right? Where, yeah, losing Fred VanVleet is a big blow to their team this year and to their likely floor as a team, but it actually unlocks a higher ceiling, because who knows what Amen Thompson could be, who knows what Reed Shepard could be. Like, just using that as a comparison, not the same situation. But back to Bam, if you're the Miami Heat and you're this great scouting department, you find the diamonds in the rough, this is a chance for you to do that at a higher level. Identify a player out there that you can go pick up. The problem is Bam is not a great fit in a lot of places, but one team I actually feel like would really want Bam, and they're a team that's kind of in a similar position as the Miami Heat, is the Phoenix Suns, and they're actually very, very similar, right? You got Devin Booker, Jalen Green, you got Norman Powell, Tyler Hero, you got Dylan Brooks, you got Andrew Wiggins, very, very similar. But if you're the Phoenix, or if you're the Miami Heat, again, I'm not saying this as me personally, how I feel about this player, but I'm saying, like, identify the player. Identify the guy you want to go after. And maybe it's someone like a Malawach. Maybe you see star potential in Malawach, and you're going to have the next Twin Towers in Khalil Ware and Malawach. And if you're the Phoenix Suns, again, very similar to Miami, you want to win right now. Devin Booker's 29 years old, Dylan Brooks 29 years old, and maybe Malawach is an all-star when he's 24 years old. That's 5 years from now. That's when Devin Booker is 34 years old. So I wouldn't do it if I was the Suns, just because I don't think Devin Booker takes you to a different level. But an idea like that makes sense. Bam would make the game easier for Devin Booker and Jalen Green. They don't really have a point guard. They need a big that can help facilitate the offense. And for the Miami Heat, again, I'm only saying this with the idea that maybe the Heat really love Malawach, right? I'm saying find that young guy that's probably undervalued that you could probably go steal, quote unquote steal, right? Because you're trading away an all NBA level player, but quote unquote steal, and go get that player. And in this hypothetical, you can get Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, Malawach. How much worse are the Miami Heat this year if they get Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal? Add to their wing depth, add to their three-point shooting. Khalil Ware plays more. Like, how much worse are they actually? Maybe you say a lot worse, and maybe you're right. And like I said, if I'm the Phoenix Suns, I'm not doing that because I just took Malawach for a reason. I believe there's real upside there. I'm not going to give up on him that early if I'm the Phoenix Suns. But again, Devin Booker is 29 years old, so kind of got to speed it up a little bit. But if I am the Phoenix Suns, I would give you Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, 2 first-round picks for Bam Adebayo. And that might be dumb if you're Phoenix because you're losing a lot of your three-point shooting in Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen, but you're presuming that Jalen Green's coming back soon and, just more minutes open up. Again, I'm not saying it's the smartest move in the world, but it's just a team I could see that would want Bam Adebayo. But real question, if you're the Miami Heat and you get Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen, Nick Richards for this year, and then you get the picks on top, but just for this year, are you a worse team? I don't know. Maybe they would. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't think it would be a big fall off, and you're going toward the future, and you're not paying Bam Adebayo $50 million next year, and you're gonna pay Norman Powell $40 million next year, Wiggins 30. Like, what is the actual plan here? In this scenario, you get picks for the future, you get cheaper role players. You have Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal for the same amount of money it would pay to keep Wiggins by himself. Like, I just think it makes a lot of sense for this Heat team. And if you're a Heat fan, you're enjoying the product on the floor right now, I don't blame you. But me, if I was a fan, I would have real questions about what is our actual plan here. But maybe I'm thinking about it too much. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Please like, comment, subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm out. Peace.